Good evening, everybody. How are you tonight? It is amazing to see you. It's amazing to have you. And it's really, really quite an honor. I'm very, very excited tonight because this is actually the last session of 2024. Can you believe it? I mean, we have done this since January. Was it January 18th? And here we are, last session of 2024. And we have not taken a break. So I need to calculate how many sessions that has been. But if a year has 52 weeks, then we probably are ranging around 48 minus December and 2 weeks in January. So we're about 46 sessions. Let's just average it at 45. So we've held 45 webinars this year only. Every week we have been here and we have been having awesome conversations and just allowing ourselves to learn, which has been an amazing experience. And I would like to hear from the chat what has been very, very interesting for you. What has stood out for you, especially for those of you who have been joining us several times? I have seen Akina Simon Frank from Tanzania. I think he has been here severally. I've seen Paul Mwendwa. I think he's been here as well. Quite a number of you. And maybe you can also share with us on the chat what has really been standing out for you. What are some of the sessions that have been very, very impactful? But it's amazing to see you and it's amazing to have you tonight. And we are looking forward to an engaging session. We are looking forward to learning. As always, this is where you get it right. Now, you are tuned in to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that demystifies issues in employment and entrepreneurship. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. To about 9:30 p.m. And we are on a mission to change the world through information. And I hope that if you've been here with us, that has been happening on your end. Of course, my name is Grace Nzula. I'm the host of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And with me is my co-host, Catherine Sidandi. Wait, I have a sign language name. It was this? Yes. So my name is Grace. Yes. My name, Grace. Wait, repeat the other part. This one I know. My name is, how do I say my name is?
Name.
Mine.
And
so
then Grace.
my name is Grace.
Grace.
My name, fantastic. Now this year I have learned a lot of sign language. I even know how to say I am an HR professional. Okay, wait, I'm an HR person that I have learned what to say. So yes, Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter. She makes us inclusive and we are very, very honored to have her. Thank you for the good job that you do, Catherine Sidandi. I don't know how we will ever repay you, but I hope that doors open for you that you never knew were open. And if you have an event and you're looking to become inclusive, please don't leave those with hearing impairment out. Please engage sign language interpreters. It is very, very important that we all grow together. And then I don't know where my co-host Richard is at, but nonetheless, when he comes in, we'll allow him to introduce himself. Now, at this point in time, allow me to give a shout out to some of our partners who have enabled us or supported us in making sure that hey, nowadays, oh wait, this Zoom has manenos. Okay, so how do I disable sharing? Just one second. Wow. So how was your week, and how, if you're not new on Get It Right, what has been happening on your end? Okay, just 1 minute. You can engage on the chat what has been impactful for you, because this is our last session of 2024. And if you've joined us since January, I hope that these sessions have been of help and you have become a different person in a positive way. Yes. Okay. So this one is up shortly in a bit. Let me just do this. Sorry about that. So I want to give a shout out to our partners. I want to share screen. Right. So we have Nilefront Cottages. Nilefront Cottages is a cottages located in Jinja, Uganda. This is 2 hours from Busia border if you're coming from Kenya, and again an hour drive from Kampala. Nilefront Cottages is also run by one of us, a HR professional based in Kampala, Uganda. And Nilefront Cottages is one of the most beautiful places you can be at. They are privileged to have both the sunset and the sunrise, depending on where you stand. And then they are about 5 minutes away from the where Lake Victoria meets River Nile. So you can imagine the kind of fish you get to eat when you visit Nilefront Cottages. Please, 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 it's the holiday season. Do not let your sweetheart hang there wondering what to do. And this thing of taking them to Shago only, or to the village. Can you take them here for a minute and then you can send them back to the village on 2 days or 3 days? You know, nowadays we keep very beautiful nails. Kindly take them to Nilefront and let them experience this. And then we have Elsamere. Elsamere is a lodge located here in Kenya. Now, please, if you want to take a vacation, if you want to take a vacation, if you want to take a solocation, or whatever medication you want to take, please visit Elsamere. It is one of the most serene places I've been to. You can view Lake Naivasha from your bed, not just from seated when you're seated outside. Like you just draw the curtains and you're able to see Lake Naivasha. And it is so beautiful. It is a conservation center. So you go, you get to learn, you get to experience the animals, you get to understand how Elsa was born. They have a museum and quite an awesome story about Elsa the lion. Kindly visit there if you're around Kenya or in Naivasha, please go. And then we have K Square HR Services. K-Square HR Services is a HR consulting firm located in Kigali, Rwanda. If you want to get HR services, training services, please get in touch with us and we'll link you up with K-Square HR Services. Do not get stuck with your questions for legal or employment relationships in Kigali. We will be able to link you up. Or if you are looking for consultants to work with you, K-Square HR Services will be able to support you in that. We have Profiles International. Profiles International, I call them the people, although their tagline is mold culture. They offer Genos Emotional Intelligence coaching. So if you want to become a Genos Emotional Intelligence coach, then you need to link up with Profiles International. If you want to get very good or carry out psychometric assessments, then Profiles International will be able to do that with you. And then we have Steadfast Quality Solutions. Steadfast Quality Solutions is also a partner in Uganda. This is headed by my good friend, Mr. Herbert Zake. Now, Mr. Herbert Zake is a Gallup strengths coach, and he has coached over 500 executives. And if you're looking for a coach, then you need to get in touch with Herbert Zake of Steadfast Quality Solutions. And then if you're looking for board recruitment, board evaluations, and board training, then Steadfast Quality Solutions will be able to help you on that. And then we have AAR Insurance for all your insurance needs. You know, they say you are in control. If you're looking for to renew your medical covers, if you're looking for WIBA, if you're looking for vehicle insurance, then AAR Insurance will be able to support you in that. You know, they actually have a big hospital here in Nairobi. AAR Insurance will be able to give you that. And then we have Panessa Training Institute. If you have anyone who wishes to become, to learn basic woodworking, then Panessa Training Institute are the people for you. They actually are one of the best furniture manufacturers in East and Central Africa. If you're looking for very nicely done furniture, by the way, if you want to know furniture that has class, Panessa Kenya Limited are the people for you. And then they have a school called Panessa Training Institute. So please don't let your brothers, your sisters hang in there and they have talent. Please bring them to us and we'll be able to train them. We have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito offers coastal snacks if you're looking for cashew nuts. Richard loves their cashew nuts. Please get in touch with them. They have on Facebook and Instagram. We have Labor Planet. Labor Planet also offers labor outsourcing. So if you're looking to outsource your labor, then Labor Planet will be able to do that for you. We have Wicklin. Wicklin are the only people who have a machine that cleans your carpet in 5 minutes. Or yeah, within I think 90 minutes, your carpet is done. So they actually offer 24-hour service. So they can pick your carpet today, and they also come to pick up the carpet from your house, and then they clean it and deliver it back tomorrow. How awesome is that? And then we have Hotel Sapphire. Hotel Sapphire is a hotel located in Mombasa town. Now, if you're looking for a place to chill on a Friday, they have one of the best bands I have experienced. If you're in Mombasa, please, on a Friday evening, just visit Hotel Sapphire. It's right in the city center, and they are fantastic, I tell you. And then they also offer transfer services in a limo. My God, hey, you go there and you wonder why you're not making money. Nonetheless, I'm sure you are making money. And then we have Port Sacco. Port Sacco are your Sacco service providers. If you wish to save or to join a Sacco, then you need to contact Port Sacco. And then, of course, I can see Richard is here, Mr. Courageous. Happy birthday, Richard. May you experience God's favor in whatever you do. Blessings to you. Now, Richard offers interview coaching. If you were looking for tailored strategies for answering questions, if you're wondering how to present yourself as a top tier candidate, if you're looking for insights on what employers are looking for, if you're looking for techniques to build your strong connection with the people who are interviewing you, then you need to get in touch with Richard Magoma. He will be able to coach you for your next interview and make sure that you get it right. And yes, my favorite part of this year, we are going for the HR Awards and Gala Dinner. This is happening this Friday. I am so excited. And I have seen the nominations or the nominees, and it's going to be such an interesting night. Looking forward to whoever will win, and looking forward to Impact, looking forward to having an amazing time. And it's an all-white party. My God, this is going to be awesome. Please join us on, this is hosted by the Institute of Human Resource Management. Join us on Friday from about, is it 6 p.m. Or for only 5,000 for individuals and 40,000 for corporate. Please do not miss this out. Do not sit this one out. Come and network, come and have fun, come and dance, and come and engage with our fellow practitioners. All right, that is it about mentioning our people. And I see it's my first time to join, and looking forward to know more about how to manage workplace politics. Thank you very much, Josie Moirori. It is the last day of Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and always looking forward to hearing your feedback. Please give us your feedback, and we will be reaching out to you for feedback. We really want to know how has these social sessions impacted you. Lillian is saying we are going to be looking like angels. I know. They better be putting on very beautiful music, because we are just going to be dancing in a white. Yeah, anywho. So tonight, this is a very interesting topic, and what a way to end the year. And with us, we have three panelists who are fantastic people. It's good to see you, Kylene. It's good to have you, Moses. It's good to see you, Anne, as well. We are very honored to have you tonight, and we are really excited. So I'm just going to ask you quickly, if you can do, we want to do a quick introduction so that we can get to know more about you. And also, maybe you can tell us something interesting about workplace politics. So I am going to start with the only man on the panel. At least Richard has joined this conversation. Otherwise, it was going to be a chama for women. But yes, Moses, kindly introduce yourself and tell us something interesting about workplace politics.
Okay, thank you, Grace. And to the fellow panelists, I think this is a fantastic topic for us today. And thank you, Richard, for joining, to just make sure that there's some gender parity on the screen, because I was totally outnumbered. I'm Moses Mbuvi Wita. I'm an HR professional over the last, possibly 2.5 decades. And I have been at it at different organizations. Notably, I've done manufacturing, banking, and now in the development world. And I come with some experience to be able to speak to this topic Not that I'm the coolest workplace politician. I'm actually potentially, I've been a viewer, I've been a victim, I've been a mediator, I've been the go-to person when workplace politics gets out of hand. So today, I'm just excited to be able to share what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I've been able to work with. And also, more notably, I see so many friends in the group that have joined. I heard you speak about HR awards. Just interest. It's quite interesting that this Friday, the 29th of November, the HR professionals in Uganda will also be having awards. So what a day. So I think I'll send my invoice to the HR Mau secretariat to, send me my package for that announcement. But it's going to be, awards in Uganda, awards in Kenya for the HR practitioners. Looking forward to an interesting topic. And if we talk about work politics or workplace politics or office politics, it tends to get a bad reputation, but it's not necessarily bad. There's a lot of good that happens in the office politics. It is how we respond to what is happening around the competition for resources, the competition for power. And because we're just human beings, we are just human. If you put two humans in a room, they will start to compete even for the air that they breathe. They will start to debate who needs to open the window, who should shut the window. And, the debate goes on. So just imagine bringing thousands of people, hundreds of people in a workplace, and you have things that happen in the workplace like budgets, like positions that are not enough for everyone. Everybody needs a piece of that cake. Everybody needs a piece of that power. Everybody needs a piece of those resources. What tends to happen? Emotions show up, and behaviors run out of order. And what is the result? Sometimes it's good for some people. Sometimes it turns nasty for others. So let's see where this takes us today, this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for that intro, Moses. Moses is one of the leaders I have had the pleasure of interacting with. He's very wise, and I look forward to working with you more. And of course, we have Kylene.
Hello, Grace.
Karibu sana.
Karibu sana. Thank you so much, Grace. I'm glad to be here. It's an absolute honor. Lovely to meet all of you. This is the first time that I join your sessions this year, and I'm just extremely happy that I get this opportunity before this year ends. So my name is Carleen Human, or Human is a good surname. I'm the CEO of the Mental Health Hub, headquartered in Kigali, Rwanda, and we specialize in custom employee well-being programs for African organizations, both private, public, NGOs, large and small organizations. And our focus is on improving the well-being of employees, and in this way, the resilience of every business in Africa. Thank you so much to Atara Solutions, to Grace for setting up this live webinar, this very interesting topic, so that we can have this crucial conversation together. And I'm very grateful that we have Moses as our representative, for sure, because workplace politics and anything with regards to workplace well-being is not something that we can do on our own, or one gender, or one age group. It's something we all have to do together. And my interesting point about workplace politics, I may say, is that I think Moses have said it, maybe I will just frame it a little bit differently. We can't avoid office politics. It is inevitable. Sometimes we may have negative feelings about it, or maybe sometimes we think we're taking the high road by ignoring it. but it's an inevitable force of human nature to which we must all adapt in order to survive. And our lack of attention to what's happening in the workplace space can be to each of our disadvantage with regards to our career advancement, but even with having healthy relationships. So therefore, it's crucial to pay attention and to be politically savvy. Thank you.
Thank you. It's such an honor to have you here, Kylene. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing your wisdom. I'm looking forward to learning from you. I met your team last week down in Kigali, Rwanda, and such an amazing and very, very good conversations we had at your stand, and it was really, really amazing. Kigali. By the way, you guys, I was in Kigali last week, and if you did not come, you have no idea. Moses, how did we leave you out? It was so nice. You totally missed out. Anyway, moving on. So we have Anne Wamonje. Anne Wamonje happens to be my colleague, and she will tell us more about what she does and about the company she works for. Anne, take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Grace, it's always an honor to be here because naturally I don't speak here every week, even though I am part of this team. So my name is Anne Wamonje. I am a certified HR practitioner in Kenya, and I am a HR consultant. Currently, I work for Atara Solutions, the host of Get It Right with Atara Solutions, obviously. And what we basically do is we offer HR consultancy services in the form of recruitment. So what we would do is take off the headache and the heartache that comes with recruitment. We endeavor to give you the best candidates that are available in the market within the budget that you have provided us with. So in case you're looking to recruit for various positions, please feel free to reach out to us. Also, we offer HR consultancy services in terms of generally auditing your HR systems and processes to make sure that you're compliant, and we would be able to work on restructuring your organization so that we streamline it to make your business processes become easier, because you require the people that you work with in order to achieve your objectives. So here we do it in two forms. We can be able to do it on a one-off basis where we come in and be able to do the streamlining and let you continue with the rest of the process. And also we are able to handle your HR function, and we take that off your hands. And so what we will do is handle your HR function end to end. So we are generally your HR manager outsourced. Also, if you're looking for training services and personal development, please feel free to reach out to us. Next year, we are starting a HR mentorship program that begins early January 2024. And this is purely for HR practitioners, HR officers that are trying to transition into the management role. So what we will be able to do is guide you into how do you move on to the next step of your career. So, and this is the season for team building. So if you're looking to get your people to have fun, please reach out to us. We will make it happen for you. Do not be afraid of the weather. They will not even remember that it is raining. So that notwithstanding, today we are discussing a very interesting topic on workplace politics. And generally, if you've been in employment, you understand or you have experienced what organizational politics looks like. And you might have been on the receiving end, or you might have been the politician in this equation. So ideally people think that they can sit it out and not be involved. But you realize that workplace politics ideally would be able to require you to, you have to pay attention to the organization that you're working with and try to understand how do they operate. Because with that in mind, then you can be able to strategically place yourself in that organization, in that position, and probably transition to the other levels of employment. So good, bad, neutral, workplace politics is there with us. Every organization, regardless of how small it is political. The degree is what differentiates one from the other. And then also the negativity or the positivity of the politics is also the differentiating factor. So Grace, that will be my opening remarks as far as this is concerned. So over to you, and I hope everybody enjoys this session. Please feel free to ask your questions. I know this is a very touchy subject, and people are looking forward to opening their hearts. We are the priests and the priestesses for you tonight. Karibuni sana.
All right, and maybe you need to check your earphones, or I don't know whether it's for me, but your sound went low a bit. So, and I wanted you to tell us about this workplace politics. Now that you're on the mic, I wanted you to tell us the definition of politics today, and are they good, are they bad, or are they neutral? What is your opinion?
All right. Workplace politics is generally defined differently based on who you ask and their experience with that kind of, environment. But generally, when you're talking about workplace politics, these are generally social behaviors that are strategically placed to be able to serve every individual or an organization's interest. You know why is that? Because in every organization everybody has their interests. Do not be cheated that what I am looking to achieve is what every other person is looking to achieve. So based on the interests that I have within that company, I will be able to design certain behaviors that will be able to propel me to the next level. So ideally, we work with different personalities, we work with different egos, we work with a variety of people. Somebody is mentioning my volume. I think my volume is on the max. I hope, Grace, you guys can hear me better.
We can hear you, but you go and you whatever, but we can hear you. It's fine.
All right. Let me just finalize on this, and then I can be able to transition to a different device and see whether that works out. But as I was saying, we work with people who have different interests, different personalities, and their agenda is different. So at the end of the day, everybody is trying to look out for their interests individually. And then we have the overall organization that is looking out for what they are able to achieve at the end of the day. So these social behaviors will be designed to be able to serve the interests that have been placed out there. So whether they are good or bad or neutral, that remains a question of are you asking? Because there are different politicians in the workplace. There is always that person who is, if you want the latest gossip in the company, you have to go to so and so because they have the tea. So then there is the other person who is, if you're looking for somebody who can be able to lobby the team to get things done, there is a specific person that is their strength. And then we have somebody the one who takes credit for everybody's work. So you guys will break your backs, but at the end of the day, they will be going to the CEO or the manager to tell them, this was achieved because of my own doing, or I am the one who put that team together, or whatever it is that they come up with. So when you look at all these people, you have to understand that they are all coming into play because of the various interests that they have. So you as a person, when you sit back and say, I do not want to involve myself with workplace politics, you will start wondering over time, why so-and-so just came in last year and they have been promoted, and I have been working here for the last 6 years, and I have not moved a level. So generally, workplace politics is aimed at serving interests. Grace?
Thank you for that. And allow me to ask the audience, we will open the floor for questions in a bit. However, please put your questions on Q&A. I repeat, put the questions on the Q&A so that we are able to follow through and also not lose them. Yeah, so at this point in time, Moses, are you with us?
Yes,
Moses,
I'm
are you
here.
there?
Yeah,
Okay.
the bandwidth is struggling. Yeah, so I'm right here. For a moment,
Okay.
I was, it just kicked me out.
Oh, sorry for that. I'm
Right.
glad you're here. And following up on the conversation, or rather the discussion from Anne, I would like to know what are some of the potential office politics scenarios you have seen over your career? And now you have said you've been in manufacturing, you've been in the banking industry. What are some of the potential scenarios you've experienced?
Actually, they are real scenarios, so quite interesting that I've seen, leadership clashes between very senior people in organizations, either angling for things that potential organizations have put in place, like bonuses becoming a point of conflict between chiefs or heads of departments, because they potentially see each other trying to sabotage the other one's, delivery. I've seen employees sabotage a new leader, whereby because there's a new leader or a leader has emerged from among them, and they feel like, you can't be leading us. We have been the boys, on the road. We've been together. We've been hanging out together. Now you are our boss, and they just start to withhold information. They either drop their performance, or they start to, not deliver on their commitments. And what happens? They start to point a finger that, potentially the new leader should be a bad one. I've also seen cliques emerging in a workplace. Some of them well-intentioned, but then the challenge is that they start to exclude people, or they exclude colleagues. Now cliques could emerge, and it's very interesting. Sometimes they have emerged out of what you would not necessarily imagine that is something that would be that would bring adults together. So either they hang out together, or they are from the same school, or they go to the same religious institution, and they start to have meetings after meetings, okay? And that's where the politics now comes in. Things are discussed before the main meeting and are agreed. And some of them could be discussed even at golf courses, whereby there's a group that goes to a golf course and they have this conversation. And when they show up in a meeting, they, for lack of a better word, but the corporate word is they are all aligned. So if you are not part of that group, you are out. And whatever ideas that you bring may not sail through. Or they had a discussion after their religious meeting, and they discussed work issues and aligned, and then they come in like a caucus into the organization or into the committee that they work with. I've also seen toxic leadership behaviors, and these could be very funny, whereby either leaders have behaved like they're insecure, and therefore they go around looking for praise stars, or people who need to nod and jump at every request that they make, to the point that employees who are typically responding to that kind of behavior are in a space whereby if they are asked to jump, they simply ask how high they should be jumping, even when they know that is actually wrong. Then power struggles between teams. And again, this is driven by resources. In organizations, you have budgets, you have resources, maybe could be compensation around bonuses, and potentially these teams don't believe in the aspect of we all win together. For them, winning means that one of them has to lose, then the other has to win, so that they can also be able to benefit out of it. So what typically happens, they go after each other and sabotage it. They keep sabotaging each other's initiatives. But quite interesting as well is change initiatives. I've been in organizations where there are lots and lots of changes. So these changes sometimes, face a lot of resistance. And this is where you see politics come into play. Either people are fearing that the new the new system could take them out of their jobs, or they could lose relevancy. So what do? Either they slow down the adoption of anything that is coming through, or they simply don't adopt to anything coming through. But just to keep the discussion short, I'll sign out with the very interesting one around gossip or rumor mongering. So very, very rife in organizations. And you should always be, it should also be, it should interest everyone when you start to hear rumors about leaders and where those rumors, what you need to dig deeper to understand why they are actually being said. You'll never hear rumors about, the guy who opens the gate, at the workplace, but they'll go right at the top. And the intention potentially, it could have been started by a rival of that leader to undermine, the leadership that there is. So, and it will spiral out of control to the point that if not managed, the impacted person could actually get very stressed. But I'll pause, and I know my colleagues have other scenarios they can share with us. Over
Thank
to you,
you,
Grace.
Moses. Thank you, Moses. I see somebody, Wanjao, saying, can somebody define what workplace politics is? And I'm thinking Anne has defined it, Moses has given scenarios, but maybe also Colleen will also touch on it as we go into asking further. So Colleen, to you, because you are a mental health expert or a psychologist, and from a psychologist standpoint, what is the impact of office politics on individuals and organizations?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me well?
Yes, loud and clear.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, I think Anna gave a very good summary of what the definition is. But yeah, it's got a positive side, it's got a negative side, and it's got a neutral side. If we look at the impact, I may say that it is looking, let's start with the individuals. Stress and anxiety is a huge area where we see an impact. Office politics can be a significant source of stress and anxiety for individuals. The things that Moses were talking about, the constant maneuvering, the stories behind people's backs, the competition, the fear of manipulation, fear of exclusion, lead to heightened stress levels, and it can have detrimental effects on an individual's physical and mental well-being. And this is important for us from a psychological point of view, because we see this not only in Rwanda, only in East Africa, not only in Africa, but across the world, that stress levels have increased. It was astounding for us to see that during 2021, during COVID, when we did our first study on people's levels of stress across East Africa, stress was high. When we repeated the same study in 2023, the stress was higher, much higher than during the pandemic, which just shows us that there are so many factors that impact on individual stress. The other impact on individuals is job satisfaction. I think Anna also referred to this earlier. So no, sorry, there was somebody that wrote in the chat, if the culture and the organization is of such a nature, then people leave because they will be dissatisfied. So job dissatisfaction should be a serious concern for an organization, and this will come with office politics. Another very big impact on individuals is loss of trust. And trust is a fundamental component of healthy workplace relationships. And in the absence of that, you have eroded trust among colleagues, where people perceive that others are acting in self-serving ways. Another individual impact of office politics. The negative office politics is a physical health impact. So not only does it have a negative impact on the mental health and the mental fitness of a colleague, but prolonged exposure to workplace stress can lead to physical health issues such as high blood pressure and even more severe conditions. Another thing that happens, and we have seen this, is reduced productivity. As employees become embroiled in these political disputes, they spend their time on navigating the political landscape. And time is a very precious resource, right? It's not infinite. And if people are busy navigating the political landscape every day, they drive to work, they go to work, their productivity can suffer. Last but not the least, burnout. If we have this ongoing stress in somebody's life, it can lead to burnout. And burnout is this thing that's not a psychological illness or a mental health illness, but it's important enough and prevalent enough that the World Health Organization has declared it a mental health condition that severely impacts work. And prolonged exposure to office politics can lead to burnout. This constant need to be on your guard, deal with conflicts, and manage political relationships can drain an individual. It's morale, motivation, etc. On this side of the organization, a lot of the things that I've just mentioned, we can already clearly see this has a direct impact on the organization. Decreased productivity, not something we want to deal in an organization. Staff resigning because they can't handle the politics. High staff turnover, which gives Anna more work and projects, which is wonderful. But for an organization who's trying to retain talent, high turnover is a concern. The other thing, and this is one I wish to highlight, impact of negative office politics on the organization. Be aware, this will weaken your organizational culture. A culture dominated by office politics is toxic. Moses spoke about this. He has seen this, and it's divisive. This weakens your organizational culture. It makes it difficult to foster a sense of teamwork, collaboration, and shared values. And those are the things that we look at when we say we wish to build organizations' resilience. For the business to be resilient, you need a very positive culture, right? Another impact on organizations, if there is too much of this negative politics going on, is conflict escalation. There is suppression of innovation. People, the good people, start to be scared to take risks, start to be scared of making mistakes. And when I speak of mistakes and risks here, pay good attention. I'm talking here about those mistakes one needs to make when you are experimenting in an innovative workplace, which is what we need. So there needs to be a safe culture where people are okay to make mistakes. Otherwise, your organization's not going to be first as far as innovation is concerned. I think, Grace, there are many more for the individual, for the organization. Let me stop there in the interest of time, and happy for you to proceed to a next question. Thank you.
Thank you, Kylene. I think I like the issue, the part we've talked about for the individual, the burnout, and because I think most people, when they want to resign or the verge of resigning because of a political environment, probably it's part of burnout, but we're coming back for you to give us some tips on that. However, back to you, Moses. You have been in leadership positions for quite a while. You have worked with top leaders. You have engaged top leaders. You have had conversations with even middle-level leaders. And how can leaders actually create an environment where workplace politics are more constructive than destructive? You're on mute, Moses.
Thank you. That is quite interesting because just a follow-up on Kyle's submission around, culture and, how that becomes an issue if there's a lot of negativity in that space, in the workplace. Then it takes me to the angle that says, leaders are in charge of the culture. So in some organizations, actually, they say, the CEO is the chief culture officer. It is everything that leaders do is transformed or translated into the culture of the organization. So there are a couple of things that they can do. And when you start to hear cliques, when you start to hear divisions emerging in the workplace, that means there's no open communication going on. So people are manipulating the communication space to be able to achieve the individual goals, against, the organizational goals. So the very first thing that leaders can do is to have very open communication, because that completely breaks down the rumors. Imagine if leaders are out to catch each other doing something wrong, or not even something wrong, but they keep leaking information that is supposed to be organizational information, that possibly a change that is going to happen, or something like a restructuring going to happen in the next maybe 6 months. And this is being discussed at very senior levels. But because there's politics in the organization, one of the leaders just leaks that information, and then the rumor mill spills and productivity drops. And because as the leader, you are also still holding on and you're thinking, I am in charge of this place, but just know that the information has been leaked out. So you better have open communication channels that are able to communicate at the right time, at the right forums, with the right people. Also, building relationships at all levels can also be something that leaders can look at. You need to be, and there's that saying that, being at the top is very lonely, but you need to create opportunities for you to connect with the rank and file of the entire organization so that you are able to listen. So a couple of them use, different opportunities. These could be outings, these could be company events, and you spot leaders, talk to people that you believe, what kind of conversation are they actually having with that person? But that is one way to actually get what people would call the vibe. So what is the vibe on the ground? So what is actually being said? How are people feeling? Because with that, you start to get an insight on what is actually going on. And possibly you can be able to catch it early. Leaders also have instruments of power, if I may call that out. So they have an opportunity to spot and deal with the toxic behaviors when they start to emerge. So if you find out that, sex or leaders at different levels below you have made wrong decisions around issues to do with promotions, issues to do with recognition, you need to move very swiftly to correct that, because if you let it to fetter, then it will start to become a very serious problem. Because then they will think that your inaction actually means an endorsement of what is actually going on. And you need to also, as a leader, you need to model the behavior. So if you are going to be very intentional to promote positive politics, if I may call it, because the moment the word office politics is mentioned, 98% of the time, people go negative. But there are also very positive elements of politics, that emerge in a workplace. So you need to model the positive politics in the workplace. And what I had earlier said, being able to lead by example, connecting with people, collaborating with them, acting with integrity and fairness, and also being very inclusive in how you deal with issues, and so that people can quickly see I had one of my leaders in one of the organizations that I worked in who said that, you know, as a leader, you are on the stage. You are being watched like, you know, children watch a father returning from work and they start to guess whether he's angry or he's happy. They watch a mother coming from work and they start to guess, okay, what should we do? How do we welcome them back from work? When we show up at work and you are the leader, people are looking for signals. Is there a burnout? Are they stressed? What is the mood today? You know? And if you want to see that, if you want to know that, ask people who, you know, they call them executive assistants. They normally give out such information because people come in and say, what is the mood of the leader? You know, before we start asking for stuff. So model that in a way that promotes integrity, fairness, and I'll sign out with, you know, how do you promote a culture of transparency and fairness, you know, around very interesting decisions, promotions, work assignments, you know, rewards. Do people understand and agree on how that cake has been shared? Okay? Or we hide behind, this is very confidential and, you know, just take what you have and we shall meet later. So that technically starts to bring a lot of, you know, what you call the discussion after the meeting. So people go around the water cooler and have water cooler conversations and they start to imagine certain things. And as they keep reimagining that, that's when the rumor mills spill over. And to Kyle's discussion around productivity, it starts to go in the opposite direction from where you actually wanted it to be. I'll pause there and possibly invite my other colleagues to add on.
Thank you for that quite comprehensive, Moses. I think you're also giving us very practical answers on what as leaders we can do. Because 3/4 of the people on this call are actually HR professionals. Allow me to just jump on to Anne. Anne, what are you there, Anne?
Yes, Grace, I am here.
Okay, so because specifically, I know you can add on to what Moses has contributed, but specifically, what is the role of HR professionals in this whole conversation?
All right. So it's important to note that for us to be able to understand the role of HR in this entire conversation, we must understand the impact of workplace politics. And especially on the negative side of it, where we have spoken about issues of burnout, we have talked about issues of employee turnover and generally low productivity and all that, which are sit very squarely on the HR department in terms of turning all that around. So as a HR person, one of your roles is resolving conflicts that arise within the organization. And unfortunately, when there is a lot of workplace politics that is going around, and we are talking about the rumors, we are talking about people taking credit for other people's work, we are talking about all this negativity that arise out of a negative workplace politics, it comes back to the HR to be able to streamline the systems and the structures and the processes to make sure that we are all communicating and moving towards this same direction as an organization. Because as I come in with my own interests and Grace is also coming in with their own interests, it means that if all these are not balanced and harnessed, we will not be able to achieve the objectives that we have set out. So as a HR person, one of the things that you have to be able to understand that at the end of the day, it will come down to you to be able to deal with the consequences of the political environment within your organization. So then, what does this mean to you as a person or as a professional in terms of dealing with these consequences? Number one, for you to be able to effectively deal with these issues, you have to cultivate a culture of accountability. And I want to tie this very closely to the issue of integrity. And this is something that I learned very early in my career, as a HR person, if you are compromised, it makes it very difficult for you to make decisions. And at the end of the day, as a person or as a professional, a lot of very difficult decisions will sit at your desk that you need to be able to decide on. You decide on who gets hired, you decide on who gets fired. Sometimes once the appraisals have been done, your opinion will be sought in terms of what now do we do in terms of rewarding these people, promoting them, or putting them on performance improvement plans, stuff like that. So, but then if you are somebody with high levels of integrity, I can tell you, naturally your employees will, yes, they will question your decisions sometimes, but they will not always question those decisions on the negative. Because one, they understand that Anne comes in as a person with high levels of integrity, and if you tried to compromise her, then you will not be able to be successful. And then I've talked about accountability. Are you taking accountability? Are you responsible for your own actions and decisions, or are you always blaming the weather or blaming the CEO or blaming whoever other colleague of yours? Because decisions will be made in the boardroom, then it will be your responsibility to come out and communicate them. Questions will come after that communication has been made. So how are you going to address those questions? How are you going to respond to them? Then another thing that you have to be able to look at is the issue of communication with transparency. And Moses mentioned something in terms of, HR people, we keep talking about this is confidential information. And I agree totally. There's a lot of confidentiality that is required within the HR department. But then again, even as you maintain high levels of confidentiality, are you able to communicate properly what needs to be done, or rather what needs to happen? Like, for example, if an employee was left the organization today, do you normally take time to be able to communicate that to the rest of the team and tell them Anne left the organization because they resigned, or it was an issue of termination, or what? Or do you wait for people to start spreading rumors? Because ideally what happens when somebody leaves, and sometimes when the turnover is very high, employees start to imagine things. And sometimes these exits are potentially instigated by the employee themselves. Some people just choose to step back because of, or rather to move on because of greener pastures. But because the organization does not come out transparently and tell them Anne has left because of this and that, one person will start spreading the rumor during lunch break in the kitchen, and by evening, it will be, that HR is the one that has a very bad heart. In fact, I knew she did not like that person, and that is why they have made sure the person has left. When in reality, this person has left because of their own, in their own volition, or sometimes it is a genuine disciplinary issue that needed a separation to take place. But because we are bound by confidentiality, we are coming back to say, we are keeping quiet so the rest of the people can be able to make up their mind. Then also, there is the aspect of empathy and compassion. As a HR person, how do you respond to your employees' needs? Or when an employee comes to you and tries to explain their problem, you tell them, according to our HR policy, we cannot do this and this. HR people, we like to read policies a lot. But there comes a time when you have to put the policy down and use your common sense. Because if I am somebody who is coming to you for emotional support, and then you tell me, our HR policy does not allow us to do this and that, the next time I have a problem, you are the last person I am coming to. So how do you address these issues, or rather these personal issues or work-related issues, when the employees have a problem? Are you somebody who is reliable? Are you somebody that when they come to, they can be confident that the matter will be resolved? Or when you do not, normally we have this phrase where we say, I will see what I can do. And we all know that when somebody says, I will see what I can do, Ideally, what they mean is that they have seen what they can do and they have discovered there's nothing they can do, but they are afraid of telling you about it. Or are you the kind of person who says, allow me to do this and that, and I will get back to you in 2 days? Please, if I don't get back to you within the next 2 days, come and remind me. You know, you build confidence within your team, and then they are able to know that I can go to the HR and they will be able to assist me. They might not give me the money that I am looking for, but we can always work out a solution to my problems. You know, it brings back the confidence. Then, as a HR person also, you must have self-mastery. You have to, there's this word you keep talking about on emotional intelligence. How well do you understand your own emotions as an individual, and how well can you be able to read the room? Because this goes a long way in dealing with most of the issues, or rather addressing a lot of the political situations that may come up. There are issues that do not require you to respond. But then we are the soldiers of the Lord. We are warriors. We want to fight every battle. But then you realize that you cannot fight every single battle. There are things you sit out. There are others that you want to come out and say to somebody's face straight on and tell them what you're doing is not correct. I think you need to be able to work on that. Or there are others that you might be able to provide advisory, or rather provide advice from the side. But then there are also things you must confront head on. Emotional intelligence will be able to assist you in understanding which situations to avoid, which situations to be able to confront head on, and which situations, you know, let things be. You understand? And then we also have finally, on this, I would want to speak about leadership. Because at the end of the day, what separates one HR and another is not their understanding of policies and legislations and what, but their ability to lead the teams that they work with. And unfortunately for HR people, you sit in a position where everybody looks up to you. Your personal or individual opinion becomes company opinion. If the HR walked into the eating room during lunchtime and made a declaration, it does not matter what the other people within the company, their opinions are. People will go with, HR said it, it means that is what the organization thinks, or that is how they feel about us. So generally, as you lead the people and you inspire, you have to put yourself in a situation where you understand the vision of the company, you inspire these people to work towards that vision, and you do it with compassion, you do it with firmness, you do it with integrity, and all the other things that I have been able to mention. And before I forget this, teamwork. You must build a culture of teamwork, and that is going to take away the aspect of individualism. Grace, over to you.
Thank you, Anne. I request the panelists that we keep our answers now slightly short. I know we're answering even some of the questions that are being asked, but Kylene, I want to merge 3 questions for you. There are 2 questions that have been asked on the Q&A, and then there's another question that I was hoping to ask, which is for individuals who are feeling overwhelmed by workplace politics. What are some of the coping strategies that you would recommend for those who are overwhelmed? And there's a question that came, is it right to resign when you cannot tolerate organization politics? Which I think is tied to that. And then there's another question I had seen. Let me just combine that. Where is that question? Or had you answered it already? Okay, and yeah, maybe you can answer those 2. I think the other one you have already answered. And Pollyanne Mogore, kindly cite examples of positive office politics. We have dealt with that quite a lot. I think Moses gave that a lot, but he can type your answer there. And for the people who are on the call, there's some questions that have already been answered on the Q&A that you can deal with them. But yes, Kylene, is it right to resign when you cannot handle office politics? And what are some of the coping mechanisms individuals can adopt?
Thank you very much. My eyes were rising because I was thinking 3 questions in one. Let's go, let's go. I also saw that question about, is it right to resign? Before you resign, I would recommend seeking mentorship or guidance from a senior person. This can be somebody from your own organization who you do trust. Even if there's bad office politics, that is really challenging, I would suggest that you find a leader, a colleague in your organization whom you can seek mentorship or guidance from, even if it's somebody from outside your organization, before you resign. It is not always easy to find a job, and it may be that there is something for you to learn here, right? So my first response would be, don't rush into the resignation. After having discussed this, deliberated, reflected on this, yes, you certainly have a choice to say, you know what, this culture is not for me, thank you. So yes, it's definitely not wrong to resign, just don't rush into the resignation. When it comes to coping strategies, yes, and when part of our employee well-being programs that we offer, we teach a lot of soft skills to support people's individual well-being. And these soft skills are the same ones I recommend today as strategies to safeguard yourself against negative workplace politics, against toxic leaders, against toxic colleagues. The first and foremost skill and competence is that of self-awareness. It's the first and most crucial step in navigating office politics, to understand your own motivations, your own values, and how you may be inclined to engage in political behaviors. Recognizing your own triggers, your own tendencies can help you make informed decisions. Together with this is maintaining, and Moses mentioned this, your own professional ethical behavior. Uphold your own ethical principles and integrity and remain professional. One of the most important strategies is to maintain your own integrity. There's this saying that says, don't stoop down to the other person's level, right? So avoid engaging in unethical and manipulative behavior yourself that can harm others, because ultimately you harm yourself the most because you're compromising your own values. Hence, self-awareness and your awareness of your own values is the first tip. The second very big tip is building and nurturing positive relationships with colleagues and superiors. Developing a network of allies helps one to navigate office politics effectively. And these relationships offers and provides your support, offers valuable information, creates opportunities for collaboration. And then, Anna, what you spoke about so eloquently is this this often overused term, concept of emotional intelligence, but really it is about managing your own emotions and understanding the emotions of others. High emotional intelligence allows us to navigate the emotional aspects of office politics with finesse, maintaining our composure and having empathy in challenging situations, because make no mistake, even though we have negative incidents in the workplace and maybe negative office politics, there is this saying that the majority of people really do not get up in the morning, put their feet out of the bed thinking, today I'm going to grind that person. The majority of people don't strategize like that. They have their personal lives, and then they arrive at work, and then they act in a certain way. And they've got their own stresses, their own stories to tell. So what Anna mentioned about empathy is super important. We often see negative behavior and negative traits in colleagues or superiors. But if we have the self-awareness and if we have our own emotional intelligence, we may realize that there's a story behind that person's behavior. And maybe this has got nothing to do with office politics. Maybe that person is just going through a really hard time. And I think our relationships in the workplace will do well if we pay more attention to relationships. Grace, I'm super mindful of the time. Other coping techniques includes building our own mental and emotional resilience and paying attention to effective communication so that we are better, all of us are better at conflict resolution. Let me end off with two very important things to take care of yourself in situations like this. Number one, stay informed. As all of us panelists said in the beginning, this thing of office politics is here to stay. So pay attention, stay informed about what is happening in your organization. Knowledge really is power, and being aware of key developments, key changes, and power structures can help you make informed decisions and also respond proactively. And the last one is set personal boundaries to protect your own well-being and avoid being drawn into negative situations. Learn to say no when necessary and prioritize your own self-care to manage your stress. That is where your focus should be. Thank you so much. Over and out for now.
Amazing, Kylene. I hope you will give us a few minutes so that we can complete this. There's an interesting question that is here, and Moses, I don't know whether you're there to answer it. Moses, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. There's somebody who's saying, how do you deal with a partner or a co-director who is influencing workers in the wrong way? And before you answer that, allow me to just give a summary. There was a question that was answered on the chat. I would like to know how companies' financial struggle can lead to poor workplace politics and employee performance and job satisfaction. And Moses answered and said, this can be so true as a scarce resource tends to spark off bad politics in the workplace. Leaders can play a role in managing resource allocation with the fairness and integrity. I think that you can base on what leaders can do, which is what we were discussing. And then there's on the point that Moses said about employees sabotaging the leaders by maybe purposely performing badly. Could it be grounds for legal action, maybe breach of contract or something of the sort? And Kylene says, yes, it could be in case where office politics involve unethical or discriminatory behaviors. The organization can be exposed to legal risks. Claims of discrimination, harassment, or retaliation can have serious legal and financial consequences. I will read out the rest before we finish. And Godfrey Twanamasiko. Where? Twinamasiko. Can someone run away or avoid office politics completely? I think you cannot. That has been answered by every speaker as they came up. So, Moses, how do you deal with a co-director who is influencing the people badly or negatively, rather?
There are a couple of ways. I think, you've got to be careful because it could be a co-director in terms of potentially ownership. So, and there might be a reason why they're actually behaving the way they behave. But the very first one, if you are a co-director and I'm imagining there are two directors, one is driving the organization in a different direction, the very first step there is to have a honest conversation, to be able to have this conversation around their behavior and how it impacts the organization, and get to know or seek to understand why they don't see that their actions are actually draining the organization. But it could also be in a corporate environment whereby it is not about ownership, but more about responsibility. and there's just a fight for power. And I always say there must be somebody above the two of you. So either it has to be raised with their leader or their manager, or it could be something that is a conversation with the HR department or the head of HR to be able to bring that behavior into perspective, so that there is also another conversation that can be held to understand why they behave the way they behave. Normally, sometimes it is a power play, and it is about resources. It is potentially you're fighting over budgets, or you're fighting over, it could even be power, who is seen as the ultimate leader in this space. So I've seen people with very, very interesting egos that don't take them anywhere, but just destroy value. So that conversation for me is a crucial one as a first step. So if it does not yield any results, then there can be many organizations have formal ways in which you can actually raise a grievance. So it could go the grievance route, whereby you can clearly state that you are being undermined by a colleague, maybe at a very senior level. And so grievances are those that you can bring about colleagues who are your peers. So it's not necessarily a disciplinary action, but you're saying, I'm aggrieved and I want to be heard. And there will be processes in which you can actually be able to process that disagreement. The outcome you should also be ready for the outcome, because sometimes maybe the person is leveraging other powers. And Kylene actually said it is okay to say no. And sometimes your saying no could mean saying, I am done here and I'm out of this place. My mental health comes first. So you do that.
Certainly, certainly, certainly. I like some comments I'm seeing on the chat, which are quite interesting, and probably will also answer some of the questions that we have had. I have seen Liz Omolo saying, in a toxic political environment, if you are an HR manager with integrity, you'll be axed out politically. It's survival for the fittest. You have to be very calculative and make sure that you're taking calculated moves before you lose it. And then Paul Badia says, before you resign, I think that's a comment on the person who was saying resignation. Before you resign, I've lost that one. Where is it? So before you resign, before you resign, learn how to navigate through politics and power at play. You are likely to encounter a similar situation in your next organization. So the grass is never greener on the other side. And then there's also a comment, the organizational facts of life that can help you navigate office politics. First thing is, organizations are not democracies. Okay. Second thing is, some people have more power than others. Third fact is, virtually all decisions are subjective. Number 4, your boss has the power, has control over much of your life. I've seen a lot of questions on how do you navigate a boss who is undermining you or who is not making you shine. Your boss has control over much of your life, and fairness is almost an impossible goal. You cannot make everyone happy. You can be fair though. I think so. You can be fair, but you may not always please everybody. And then there's a question, or rather an answer that was interesting from Moses. How do you manage employees who are always discussing? No, not that one. There's a question you answered with 48 laws of power. What is that? Oh, yeah. So curious to hear of the office politics around not making your boss feel overshadowed while you still doing your job. You might be better, but at the end of the day, your boss decides how high you jump or what value to be assigned to you. And the answer, it was answered by Anne. In the 48 laws of power, they say never outshine your boss. Read on this. You need to play your cards very strategically in this case. And I totally agree. I really wish we had quite a lot of time to continue this conversation. And I think we are going to slot some time for it again next year when you're coming in for season 7 of Get It Right to the Tara Solutions. Now, before I go back to the panelists, somebody saying, I resigned as a chairman of a company and have no regrets. Yes, sometimes you will have to resign, especially if your values are not aligned. That's a decision you get to make. What did I want to say? So before I come back to the panelists for a final or their parting shot, Richard, you've been quiet today. Tell us something, and you didn't even introduce yourself.
Moderator of Choice, Grace Nzula, thank you so much. I've just arrived in Naivasha for the Industrial Relations Summit. I have really enjoyed what Moses, Kailin, and Eileen have been able to demystify office politics. And I like what Paula said about politics. What I say, office politics, it is power dynamics. It's about resource allocation. The major question is, should you participate in office politics or not? I remember there is a book that was written by Francis Mbuka, whereby Jerry is in prison and he was very quiet, and the prisoner asked him, even your silence is politics. Even silence alone is politics in our workplace. So it is up to us, human beings, to navigate through the landmines that will make us play positive politics or negative politics. But we have been given by Moses very good solutions on how we should avoid negative politics, good communication, building relationships which are good, emotional intelligence by Kailin. Anna has really mentioned good strategies on how to evade the negative politics that will injure you professionally by behaving in a professional manner. I have really enjoyed the discussion by the 3 discussants, and this is really a discussion we should have next year, because human beings are political animals and there is no way out. You can evade politics. Only you have got to ask, what type of politics are you playing? Thank you so much, Grace, for the opportunity. My name is Richard J. Magoma. Thank you so much and good night.
All right. Thank you for your comments, Richard. Thank you for making that summary. You've told us good night too early. Nonetheless, we take it. And allow me to quickly come back to the panelists for their parting shots. And maybe we can start with the beautiful smiling face. At least I have a fellow person who smiles. Thank you, Kailin.
Your smile is contagious, Grace. It is.
Thank you so much. So yeah, give us your parting shot.
So for me, the question that we should be asking when we come back is, how can organizations better navigate this inevitable thing called office politics and create psychological safe workplaces where people who are different, have different personalities, have different positions, play different roles in office politics, can continue to collaborate together towards the same shared goals. To get it right, and I think your series is about getting it right. Our organizations need leaders with integrity. I do think it starts the culture with the CEO, as Moses said, who are involved in changing the old politics game by applying high emotional intelligence and focus on positive organizational change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And we're definitely going to be discussing organization psychological safety some point next year. Ati, can we have another episode of this subject in your year planner next year? Certainly, Josephine, certainly that's coming. Anne Wamonja, your parting shot? Anna Wamonja?
I was actually in the process of responding to somebody who asked about if you inform the rest of the employees that you have declared somebody redundant, will that not scare them, the rest of the team? And you see the point here. Before I get to my parting shot, Grace, allow me to finish this because you cut my typing off. Sorry. So Your job is not to scare the employees. Your job is to get them informed. And part of being informed is giving out the facts. So aside from just saying so-and-so's role has been declared redundant, have you also informed them of the reason why this redundancy has taken place? And also just generally building the confidence of the rest of the team that has remained so that they don't start imagining that everybody else is leaving. And also the other thing is choose the medium of communication. There are things you should write to employees on email. There are things you send on the WhatsApp group. And then there are things you call a town hall. So your medium of communication is very important so that you do not write things that were supposed to have been said verbally. Anyway, that is on that question. On my parting shot, I think what is important for us to understand as individuals and people who are navigating the work environment is that every organization is political. You are not going to get into, in fact, whether you are working in a spiritual institution like a church or religious-based organization, or you are working in the streets in industrial area, every organization is political in its own way. It is just that there are some that are so extreme that it becomes very toxic. And then there are people who, they try to manage it. But at the end of the day, when you get into an organization, one of the key things that you must take time to do is learn that organization. How do they communicate? What are the cliques that exist within that organization? Who has the power? Sometimes the person with the position does not necessarily have the power. So you must know who has the power and who has the influence, because you will be told that if you want this and that done, go to Grace. Grace is probably the housekeeper, but Grace has her ways. They know how to talk to the other people to get that job done. So learn the organization. Don't just jump in and start to shift things around and to feel too important and to, all that stuff. And then secondly, you must also be able to understand who you are as an individual, because there will be instances where your integrity might be compromised in the process of playing politics. So are there lines that you are not willing to cross? Or are you all in? You will do whatever and whatever that is required to get you to the next level. So you make that decision individually, but choose very wisely. So to all of us, I want to say all of us, because as we are all employees or employers or whatever in one way or the other, it is important that you understand that whatever side of the divide that you find yourself politically, you must be able to be prepared, and you must know which fights need to be fought, which ones need to be let go. Do I need to leave this organization, or do I need to put on my handmaid so that we can get into war? So thank you so much, Grace. I hope that I have been able to provide some insights into some of the questions that have been answered, and it's an honor to have you guys. Thank you, Grace. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Anne, for your input. And Moses, your parting shot?
Yeah, thank you, Grace. Mine will be twofold. So I definitely belong to a profession as an HR practitioner, and we normally come under the spotlight. We are the people of the people. So I always joke that, and it's actually true, and mentioned it, if an HR person moved into a cafeteria or a canteen and made a comment, the comment is legitimized as the official position of the organization. So we are the only professionals who actually lose their identity. You are referred to as the HR. I've not heard anybody being called the finance or the marketing. Those ones always remain with their names, and they say, oh, that is James, that is Richard. But for HR, as an HR professional, they just say, the HR has come. So what does that mean? You are holding, or you have a huge responsibility to make sure that integrity and fairness thrives in in the organization. So my advice, do good politics. You know what it is. You know the policies. You know their values, in your organization. Are the leaders being held to the values? So make sure that you play a fair game. Speak the truth to the power, so the powers that be. It's interesting that sometimes I've talked to colleagues and they are so scared of speaking the truth to the powers. And the powers in this case could be, they could be your leader, it could be your MD, it could be your head of department who's not playing ball, it could be an ex-colleague, and you're actually scared that, I can't actually be able to do that. But you know what? When you speak up and say, I think this is wrong, they will quickly pick the cue and say, and readjust their behaviors, because they're always waiting for that moment when the people's person will actually call them out. And if they don't get called out, they actually continue to do the wrong things. They continue to muddle into these people decisions without, any backing reasons. They continue to favor certain cliques. They continue to allocate resources without, recourse to what it means for the culture of the organization. So let's stay aware of that as professionals. And my parting shot on the politics is that, it's neither bad or good. It's simply a reflection of our human dynamics that normally come to the fore when we actually meet at the workplace. And like I said, put even two individuals in a room and there's a window, there's a debate on whether it should stay open or it should be closed. So imagine hundreds of people all trying to be galvanized to chase one vision, one goal, and then they have come in with their own baggage. They have different agendas. I'm here to make money. I'm here to make relationships. I'm here to get the next big deal. And all these are things that don't actually align with where the organization is. So what do we do? We'll definitely conflict, because when we start to engage, then we realize we have different agendas. So let's approach politics with integrity. Emotional intelligence is something that was spoken about. Collaboration. How do we turn those challenges around resources into opportunities and create those places where we, interestingly, our workplaces are places where we spend, many hours when we're actually awake and active. So you can imagine some people show up at about 7 and leave at about 5 or 6. And they only get to their homes and spend 2-3 hours, and then they're asleep. So they are not active anyway. So what do we do as leaders and employees? We can commit to making sure that these environments where transparency, mutual respect, and fairness thrive and guide our actions. But also, we can also do the good politics, which is around how do we collaborate? How do we build teams? How do we build leaders who can be influential? Not everybody is going to be a leader, by the way, and, good politics actually allows you to see good leaders emerging, because you'll start to see among peers who is influential and who can lead others. Not everybody is ready to lead everyone. So when you see those kind of talent coming through, then you should be able to say, wow, this is good. Somebody will look at it as politics, but guess what? You would have identified a leader. Thank you very much, and looking forward to, many, many more sessions in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, HR. That was actually a very good observation. Everyone is saying, I'm going to the HR office, I'm going to see the HR, I'm going to see the HR assistant, never the name. I've seen Anne saying she has worked in organizations that most people don't even know her name. They just call her HR.
Yes.
That is very, very true. There's a prayer here by Mary Achakolong who says, I want to twist it a bit for you, Mary. The serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know that is only me. Okay? You can only change yourself. So you get the wisdom to know the difference, but also the wisdom to know that you can only change you. You cannot change other people. This has been an awesome, interesting, amazing conversation, and really, 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 really happy to have you. It's almost 9:40 and we are 178. That is amazing. It means that we have been here having a conversation that is very, very impactful. So thank you so much. I know we did not manage to answer all the possible questions. There's only so much we can do on this topic in about an hour. I've seen Paul saying this should be an entire conference on managing workplace politics. Maybe it's something that we will consider, but we will make sure that we're having a continuous conversation around it so that we can equip you with tools that can help you maneuver this politics. So thank you. My panelists, I really, really, I am grateful. From the bottom of my heart, I am happy. I am so honored. Thank you for heeding our call, especially on last minute. We really don't take this for granted, and we look forward to more collaborations. Kylene, this is probably an entire East Africa and a few friends from Ghana and Zambia. Moses, I know you have the entire Uganda here. Anne has an entire Kenya here. So it's amazing. And we have a few Rwandans as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being impactful. Thank you for sharing your knowledge so willingly and so passionately about it. And we really, really hope that you guys are equipped to be able to handle a bit of it as we look forward to the sessions next year. So we will be reaching out to you to give us feedback on how season 6 has been, and let us know some of the topics that we need to cover in season 7. We wish you an amazing holiday, and we look forward to engagement. And please implement everything you learn. A few things that you learn, please take home and make sure that you implement them. So thank you very much for being here. And yes, happy birthday, Coach Richie. Thank you so much for that. He's in Naivasha running the IR conference that's happening. And Moses passed Atara Solutions love to the people attending the conference down in Kampala tomorrow. Unfortunately, we are not able to make it, but we wish you the very best, and we will be watching online. So we look forward to more engagement, and have yourselves happy holidays. Catherine Sidandi, thank you so much for making us inclusive. Really, really appreciate you for the good work that you do. And see you next year, 2025. Get it right with Atara Solutions. It's going to be bigger and better. For sure, for sure, for sure. We are looking forward to your feedback to make sure that we are aligned and we are bringing to you conversations that are ripe for you. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much, and see you in 2025. Happy holidays. Thank you. Bye-bye. What the hell?